So when we're thinking about adults' role in children's creativity and especially supporting children's art activities, it's very important that we provide children with the space and the freedom and the flexibility to be creative. What worries me sometimes is when I see an art activity that's too structured and too focused on an end product, or where staff are holding children's arm or hand to have them make something, print their hands in a specific way. So even if your activity is doing handprints and the children are putting their hands in the paint and moving it around, and you don't get a clear handprint, that's okay, because what we should be doing is focusing on the process of creating art and being involved in art and exploring, rather than the end product. So yes, it's important for us to come up with different activity ideas, to come up with different ways that we can inspire children, different thoughts about what we can make, what we can do, and we can do that by setting out and making available different types of material, different range of things, and we can think about how we can encourage children to explore and take the next steps in their artwork, even if it's not the direction that we envisaged that activity going. So it's important to be open and fluid, and to have an awareness of how children use materials to communicate ideas and express thoughts, to recognize that their ideas are valid ideas about what they want to create and how they want to create it. So my biggest takeaway about our role is about making sure that we are fluid, flexible, and enable children to use the materials and the resources in ways that they want to, even if it's different to our original thought about how an activity might work. It's also important to make sure that there is enough space to do art when you're doing artwork. Think about if art's happening around a table, and if it's with paintbrushes, for example, children might have chairs, but you can also move away the chairs. If you're doing 3D work, I would often recommend that art is not necessarily a sitting down art, but you remove the chairs and it's around the table, or removing the table altogether and putting an art mat on the floor and having art happening on the floor. So that's a big part of our role, is creating the space where art and creativity can happen. It's really important that you, as a practitioner, stay focused on keeping the areas clean and organized and managed well, so that children can see and have easy access to the resources that are available. If after 10 minutes of an art activity everything becomes messy and it's hard to find, it's very difficult for children then to create, because things aren't organized. And that's your role as a practitioner, to maintain that space, to have the children help you maintain the space. If children spill something on the floor, to help them find the right absorbent materials that can help them tidy that up. Another role of ours is to make sure that children's artwork is named and displayed. Their creations should be displayed on a regular basis all around the classroom, around the lobbies, the outside space where parents can see their work. And I also think it's a great idea to have pictures of them producing the art in with the pictures of the final product, and that shows equal value to process and product. And it's you can add captions as well to displays that describe what went into making that final product, and include pictures around the displays of the children working on creating their art. I've already said this in different ways, but I just want to repeat it. It's really important that when children are doing artwork, as practitioners, we are not controlling their art, but we give them the freedom and the flexibility. It's also important to have a range of different types of artwork and media to work with over the course of the day, the week, the month, the year. So it's not always the same set of tools with paint on paper, but there's different ways to mark make, there's different types of paint, there's different ways to apply the paint, for example, and that there's different materials to use. That's all part of our role as practitioners in creating effective opportunities for children to be creative and to produce artwork.